Hi folks, today on Two Riders we're going to give this a try. Some 4Patriots. It's 4Patriots Chicken a la King. 4Patriots advertises itself, if you can see this, as survival food. It also, over here, talks about tastes great, blah blah. In an emergency, you can depend on it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, in an emergency, this would be kind of ready to go. In emergency, a lot of times you're not going to have boiling water, which I've got this pot right here, and that's what this requires. For every cup of boiling water, a half a cup of this goes in dry. And for an emergency food, I would consider this an emergency food. Fully cooked, ready to go. Open it up, put it in a spoon, knife, whatever, slice it down. This, hot or cold. The APAC meals that I've been doing are emergency food. Things like sardines, things like peanut butter. Those are emergency foods. They can just be opened and eaten immediately. Same thing with trail mix. Same thing with peanuts and other nuts. But this is more of a long-term storage survival food. We're going to get right to it here in just a second, and we'll cook it. I'm not going to keep the camera on for the whole 10 to 15 minutes, but I'll show you it cooking. I'll show you it when it's done, and then we'll do a taste test. One serving, this is 8 servings in this bag. It is resealable. One serving provides about 260 calories, so that is not going to be the only thing I have for my lunch today. 260 calories is a little bit light, but we'll get right to it here. So we've got our boiling water. Got my half cup measuring cup. These do have tear tabs or tear cuts in them. Pretty convenient. Nice Marlar bags. And if you look at this, it's a little tough to tell. It looks better in the bag. In the bag, you can see there's some bits of dehydrated mushroom, dehydrated peas. And as I looked at, online under how to make chicken a la King, it's often something that is talked about if you've got leftover chicken meat, or at Thanksgiving if you've got leftover turkey. If you're somebody who serves turkey, no matter how small the turkey, it's almost, I'm going to set a timer for 12 minutes. It said 10 to 15. It's almost always too much turkey. But as this cooks, chicken a la King typically is chicken, and then some milk, maybe some flour, and a little bit of door just blew open from the wind, and one of the dogs went out. Green pepper, a fair amount of green pepper, some peas, and some mushrooms, and then a lot of the recipes just call for mushrooms out of a jar and add in the mushroom juice in after things have cooked a little bit. After most everything's done, the chicken kind of goes in last. It's just usually leftover cut up chicken, put it in there. Then at that point, the chicken a la King is served over rice or over noodles or over maybe even potatoes or something like that, or toast. This meal is rice is the predominant ingredient. After the rice, you've got some various flavorings. You've got what's called vegetarian chicken bouillon, which is garlic powder and other sort of flavorings. It's chicken a la King, but there's not a chicken. The chicken probably hasn't been within a half a mile of this plant where they make this. There is no chicken in it. There's a little bit of protein, 8 grams of protein in a serving, but I think a lot of that's from the various things in here, like the dehydrated butter, the modified butter, things like that. Anyway, we're going to do a taste test. You can hear a dog whining in the background because one dog got out the door and the other one is wanting to go out. So I'm going to put this on pause. We'll come back, give it a taste test in a few minutes. Okay, well, at the end of 10 minutes, even on a very low simmer, a lot of water, and I was stirring it regularly, but this is scorched. The directions just said bring it to a boil, put the stuff in and stir it. Of course, you really don't want to cook anything at a boil, but as you can see, it's pretty scorched on there. This pan's going to have to soak after it cools down a little bit. And we'll let this cool for a minute. What does happen is that the peas and the mushrooms and the little bits of sweet pepper that they have in there that were dehydrated, they do rehydrate, and they show a little color and a little texture. And we're going to give it the taste test here in a minute or two after it cools down. Okay, now, as they say, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. Proof of this is going to be in the eating. It's cooled down. It's gotten very thick. So the predominant ingredient was pre-cooked rice. And there's a lot of flavorings. Seems like a lot of salt. Sodium in here. In a serving, you're looking at 60% of your daily amount of salt, and you can definitely taste it. Salt is a very inexpensive way to boost flavor. Like I say, there's not a... Calling this chicken a la king is really disingenuous. There's no chicken in it whatsoever. There's not even chicken bouillon. There's flavorings, but if you're expecting, when you pick up a 72-hour kit from 4Patriots, or one of their big bins, that's what I ended up getting. There's no meat. I mean, it's dehydrated stuff here, but it's not freeze-dried. The bags have a little bit of air in them. They haven't been like vacuum sealed. And the big thing is that it's put in Mylar and they toss in an oxygen absorber. And the idea is all the oxygen will be absorbed. So if there are any little like flower beetles or grubs or anything that was gonna, a little weevil that was gonna eat rice or eat wheat or eat whey, that the complete lack of oxygen would kill any living organisms off. And it is sealed up, so bacteria, fungus, hopefully isn't going to grow in there. This is got a date, manufacture date of the 15th of May in 2020. So it's a little more than 4 years old. They claim like a 25-year shelf life, but I'm going to be going through these things well before then. Typically, the meals I've tasted so far either had a lot of sugar or a lot of salt. Try to boost the flavor. The other thing is that the cooking directions are a little bit lacking. If I would have cooked this at 15 minutes and stirred it occasionally, the whole pan would have basically been just a blob of scorched stuff. So, it's edible. Tastes okay. Doesn't taste like chicken. And there you have it. Survival food, long-term storage food, sure. If you want to have long-term storage food that has meat, take a look at the products from Mountain House or the Meal Cold Weather from the United States military. Those usually have a couple of Mountain House mains in them. Mountain House freeze dries everything. You add water, it rehydrates, and you can have eggs, you can have apple crisp, you can have meat dishes that are perfectly good for decades and that really give you meat that you might be craving. Here, if you're on like some sort of caveman diet, most of their stuff is flour, noodles, and rice. A lot of carbs. So, hey, hit like if you like it. Consider subscribing if you want to see more of this sort of content. And appreciate you checking in. Hope to see you again.